Now here comes another Square Enix rep. I'm going to talk about Cecil Harvey. He's from Final Fantasy IV, which did get remade on the DS. He's a popular main character. People kind of like him. He's from a Nintendo Final Fantasy, and he would technically be a character to represent the older Final Fantasy, because they'd probably want to pull him from his game rather than going to try to pull like a random like side Final Fantasy character from like the Crystal Chronicle games, or trying to pick someone from the Final Fantasy III remake. I think, but the thing is, my possibility of him is unlikely. Probably on the verge of being average, but I don't think they would want to put him in there. He has a chance because of how popular he is, and he's like one of the older Final Fantasy characters, so he has a chance of maybe being, a third-party character for them. But I think they would probably rather go with an even older, Final Fantasy character, or probably more likely Kingdom Hearts or Dragon Quest. I'd say his chances are average. Like, no, not average, but more likely. I'd say unlikely, but possibly average. The next one would be just a custom Robo representation. Like, they're all like Ray MK2 and stuff like that. I don't know which one's which. I haven't played many custom Robo games, but the series has been around since like the N64, I think. It did get debuted, like localized here with the GameCube, and the series continued on with Custom Robo Arena, which was a DS game. And the series involves fighting in general. It's giant robots fighting each other. It's kind of like Metabots, but with robots, like in more of a computer like world. That's basically what the series is like. And it's actually one of their like the lesser known Nintendo series that's kind of popular. So especially since we also got one of the Rays as an assist trophy in Brawl, there's a chance we possibly could see them. So I'd say the possibility is good. Which Ray? I don't know. I don't know which one was in Custom Robo Arena, because that's the one that's more likely going to be in. Dylan from Dylan's Rolling Western, a recent game a download game on the 3DS. He'd be a new rep to give the 3DS something, to give one of the new reps, kind of like how Roy was in the Melee and Lucario was like in Brawl. He'd be like that for 4, like to represent the new system of 3DS. He offers something different. It's something we haven't seen before. He's like an armadillo. We haven't seen a character like that at all. Like a Western cowboy armadillo. That'd be different. But the possibility is unlikely because I don't think the game has made that much popularity to it. It might be a little too recent for them, even though it'd be one of those give the 3DS a rep kind of thing. But see, I think the main reason would be because he's not that big of a character. But it'd be but the chances of them putting him in there, the reason why I don't say very unlikely, is because it'd be kind of like the representation to give him, like to push his character to make like a sequel to try to get people to know him. Chances are he'd probably more likely be a stage or an assist trophy, but the possibility of him being a character is not that likely. I'd say unlikely. Now we're going to get to the Tikis that are from Donkey Kong Country Returns. Like, it's a recent game. They were the villains in Donkey Kong Country Returns. They're basically the newer villains of the Donkey Kong series. And they would be a different style from the DK series to counterbalance, DK and Diddy. The possibility, though, I'd say is very unlikely because they were only in one game so far. I don't see how you could definitely do a moveset with them unless you use all of them together, and that'd be kind of like way too many like Tikis floating around kind of a thing. I don't know, it just doesn't make that much sense. Assist trophy easily, a boss in story mode easily, something like that easily. Characters, I don't see it. Now we're going to get on to the Elite Beat Agents, the ON Den. I could see both of these characters technically getting as alternate costumes of each other. You could play as the Elite Beat Agents, you could play as the Elite Beat Agent agents or the ON Den cheerleaders. Correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, because I still don't know how to pronounce that. Basically from both those series, Elite Beat Agents, ON Den. It's a new series from Nintendo, basically, which debuted on the DS. It's a music rhythm-based game, so that would be like the music rhythm-based moveset, which would be something different. They'd be dancing around, beating up their opponents. And it's a popular IP. People like both of them. People want a sequel to Elite Beat Agents. They want Elite Beat Agents 2 for crying out loud. What a good way to put them as a character in the game, to publish that in another ON game, a crossover, something like that, a newer game, than to advertise them in this. Chances are, more than likely, I'd see a assist trophy for both of them. That's probably where I especially see them at. Not so much a character, but I do see the Elite Beat Agents and the ON cheerleaders definitely being in Smash Bros. 4. as a character, I'd say the possibility is unlikely. As a assist trophy, definitely. I could definitely see them there. Now we're gonna get to Fawful. Basically, he'd be there because of the recent Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story on the DS. He's played a big part in like every single Mario and Luigi game. Basically, he's been in the series since the beginning. And he's a villain rep. He's also a villain rep for Mario, but I think the possibility is unlikely because he's a villain rep of a side series rather than the main series. I think that's why they wouldn't want to put him in there. Although I don't say very unlikely because I'm not saying they wouldn't want to put a side series villain character in there, especially since he's been in there since the first one, which was on the Game Boy Advance, so he has history and has been around for years. But I think they'd rather want to pull like someone from like New Super Mario Brothers or the Galaxy games or Mario 3D Land or something. So I'd say possibility unlikely. Assist trophy, like I said, I keep saying assist trophy because a lot of these characters would make sense as assist trophies, and then also have normal trophies to give information on their backstory. So I'd say unlikely. Now we're gonna get on to, correct me if I'm spelling this wrong, Gandrida from Metroid Prime 3. She's basically like one of the bounty hunters from the game. She's an important boss fight in Prime 3. She's another female rep to give the Metroid series. And she would be different than Samus or any other Metroid rep. She'd be different from Ridley. She'd be different from Adam. She was pretty important. I'd say possibility average. She's definitely nowhere near as important and doesn't have as much of a possibility as Adam or Ridley, but I think she's probably one of the characters, since she's so recent and important to her game, she stands a chance. But all the bounty hunters, I think, more likely stands a chance as assist trophies. I keep saying that again. A lot of these characters can be assist trophies that I'm naming off right now. I'd say possibility average. Ghirahim from Zelda, I'd basically say, because of Skyward Sword on the Wii, he's the new villain rep for the series. He's important to his game. He plays such a big role in his game. He's there till the end when Demise finally shows up. He's your major villain. Besides big giant creature like Demise thing, he's been there. You fight him 3 times, and especially the last one is like an epic boss battle. His moveset potential is great because he has his long distance range dagger attacks. He could take a sword out and he'd be kind of like a down B. You could take the sword out, put the sword away. He has the potential of having a double moveset. He's a popular character. A ton of people like him, way more than someone like Zant, and he has great personality for the game. You can't honestly tell me he has a great personality. To fit into something like this as a new villain to go in the side, and it makes more sense because I think Zelda needs a villain at this point rather than another hero, to counterbalance it so it doesn't have too many good guys compared to bad guys. And he makes a lot more sense since he's so recent compared to someone like Vadi, and Zant's not that important to begin with. I'd say possibility very good. Another Zelda character I think stands a chance is Impa. She has history with the series. She's basically been there since almost day one. Skyward Sword, she was in there. She's a reoccurring character. She's like the second most important female character in the series underneath Zelda. And like I said, she's important to Skyward Sword. She could possibly get in there. I say the possibility is good, but I could easily see her replacing Sheik. I could see like Skyward Sword Zelda turning into like a transfer spell, like I said last night about my roster from the contest. Like it's like Zelda and Impa, not Zelda and Sheik. Like she could still technically be in the game because I could see Twilight Princess or Ocarina of Time 3D as alternate costumes for Zelda, which could both technically have Sheik, because she could technically take Sheik's moveset in a modified version of it and still keep Sheik there. But I don't know if technically on her own if she'd make a lot of sense. So I'd say possibility good. Then we get on to Issa from Sin and Punishment 2. And Sin and Punishment 2 was on the Wii. It was the return to the series, the first localized game in the series too, because we never got Sin and Punishment 1 on the N64, and the time we only got it was a Japanese import on the Wii, which technically shouldn't count because we didn't technically get them there. And on top of that, people named Saki, and I'd say Saki's a little too old to be in as a character. And Issa's, his son, is recent enough. He is the first localized main hero. He is the hero of the game that was localized. And it's to return to the series. And the gun, basically it's a gun sword thing. He'd be kind of like he can do up close and do sword attacks, but from a mid to far range distance he could shoot and use a blaster. So he had like a sword and a gun, so it's like an integrated moveset. Like I said, we're trying the series. I'd say the possibility of seeing him is very good because I see the possibility of a Sin and Punishment character in general being good, and the chances of us getting Saki is so unlikely. And to have Kachi, I think she'd be like a costume maybe for Issa, or an assist trophy or something. But Issa's like the main character, and I think the chances of seeing him are very good. Then we're gonna get on to Isaac from Golden Sun. He's the original Golden Sun hero. He wasn't Golden Sun Dark Dawn as an adult. He was married. He had a kid, Matthew. It is a new moveset because of his magical abilities and his sword. And he in the series has survived 2 generations. And Golden Sun is popular. Like, Golden Sun deserves the character at this point, especially since Isaac was an assist trophy in Brawl. The possibility I say for him is average because I don't see Isaac getting in there. People keep naming Isaac. And unless you want his adult self, which I think is the only chance we're ever going to get to see him, we're not going to see Isaac. I think his son stands a much better chance because he is the main character of the new game. Because Isaac's more of a Game Boy Advance representation. He made sense if he actually was in Brawl and wasn't put to assist trophy status, but that's kind of where they put him. So I don't see Isaac. I say possibility average, but the average being adult Isaac, not kid Isaac or teenager Isaac, whatever age he was in the game. Now we get on to another WarioWare character in Jimmy T. Now there was the DS and Wii WarioWare games like Shake It, Smooth Moves and Do It like DIY and all that stuff on the DS. He's kind of important to the series. I wouldn't say the most one of the important side characters, but kind of important. And he would be like a wacky moveset to WarioWare. Basically, he would probably be one of the characters that would take a lot from the WarioWare roster, like the WarioWare series. Like, Wario would take stuff from WarioWare, but you still have to kind of give him Wario Land stuff. He would be exclusively WarioWare, and he has a lot of crazy stuff. He'd be like a dance character, like I said, the Elite Beat Agents, like a disco kind of character. The chances are I don't see him as being one of the most important side characters, so I'd say the possibility of seeing him is very unlikely. Assist trophy, sure. Now we're getting on to another Namco character in Jin from the Tekken series because of Tekken 3D Prime Edition on the 3DS. He is basically the main character of the entire series, and he fits the fighting mood because Tekken is a fighting game. The chances are, like I said about a Soul Calibur getting a character, I don't really see Tekken getting so much of a character, so the possibility is unlikely. I'd say that would be in the top 4. Like I said, right when the 4 and 5 is like Soul Calibur, I'd say Tekken would be that other one. He stands. It's unlikely. Normal. It's not very unlikely, but he still has a smidge of a chance, but not by much. And we're gonna get on to I think the last character I have from WarioWare, which will be Cat and Anna. Basically, like I said, the DS and Wii WarioWare from Smooth Moves to DIY. They're kind of important to the series. Like, they're important side characters. They were assist trophies already in Brawl. They're fighting potential because they're 2 like samurais. And it was adding another double character, kind of like the Ice Climbers, but this one making 2 samurai ladies that could fight, or making it kind of like the Pokemon tournament where you could switch out between Cat and Anna. Possibility average, I'd say she stands a lot more chance than Jimmy T, but I don't think she stands as much of a chance as Mona, or if we got Captain Serp instead of a WarioWare character, like if we got Wario Land instead. I think Captain Serp and Mona stand a lot more of a chance. We're now getting on to King K. Rool, which is what characters always want to have for another, Donkey Kong character. And he is a big villain to the Donkey Kong series, especially the older ones. He is recent enough if you guys play DK Jungle Climber, Donkey Kong Jungle Climber on the DS. And he, like I said, he's a big villain and he has history. I say the possibility is average because technically he's old. I mean, that could be one of the characters, like I said, the throwback thing, like taking him back because he's like quite popular and people want him, but he's not recent enough. I mean, he is in Jungle Climber, but that's like a very, very old, like side, like 2005-06, DS game. Where if he was like in like Country Returns, that would be a different story. His chances would be very high. They possibly average. But if he was in Donkey Kong Country, I'd say his chances are very good. I don't know. It's debatable from here. Now we get to one more character from Tekken, I'm going to say King from Tekken series, Tekken 3D Prime Edition. He fits in with the fighting concept because of Tekken being a fighting series. He is a popular character to the series, one of the more important ones as well. And it's a wrestling type moveset, which is different. I say possibility is unlikely, just like Jin, because I really don't see Tekken getting a character. If Namco did get a character, I don't see like Tekken being one of them. It's a possibility, but not definite though.